Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to change the gasket on that cover, the valve cover. The reason why, it's because when they try to use it, it was leaking oil from right underneath. And I went online and I ordered a new gasket. I ordered it directly from Toro. We're going to take out the cover and put the new gasket on. It's been snowing a lot over the last couple of days and they've been using a shovel. All I had to do is take out these 4 screws. Should be an easy task. Should only take about, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes at the most. And this is not my snowblower, by the way. This is my daughter's snowblower. I got her this snowblower last year. Yeah, up here now it's snowing at least once a week. And this will make her job a lot easier when it comes to removing snow from her driveway. Yep. Now this surface is very clean. Doesn't look bad at all. Old one and the new one, they're identical. So the gasket goes right here in the valve cover. No need to use any kind of sealant or anything. Just go ahead and put it in there. And let's put all 4 screws in. Make sure that the gasket isn't where it's supposed to be. It will move around on you. Yep. But it's relatively easy. Probably one of the easiest jobs I've done. Obviously, if your valve cover is leaking, you don't want to use your snowblower. After this, I need to check for oil. Make sure that we are topped off. Now for something like this, I will torque it maybe to 10 to 12 foot-pounds. Obviously, I don't have my torque wrench, but I can pretty much tell by doing it by hand manually as I'm doing now. Yeah, just go back and forth until it's very snug. Doesn't have to be tight. All right, let's check for oil. And we are full. What am I missing? Why isn't it starting? Everything's connected, everything is as it should, but I just found out that this snowblower hasn't been started all year. So what I'm thinking is that the carburetor is probably all gummed up with old gas, and I think I'm gonna have to take it home. Okay, made it to the house. Now all I have to do is remove all that snow with the tractor, and then I can pull that in. All right, so here it is inside the garage. I bought this snowblower last year, and at the time it was working just fine. I bought it in Clifton Park, New York, and then I drove it to my daughter's house and I dropped it off. And I turned it on or started it at our house and it was working fine too. So I don't know what kind of fuel they had in there. I am pretty sure that I did not bring it over to my house, and I definitely did not do any maintenance on it because like I said, at the time it was working perfectly fine. Now, if the previous owner added regular fuel with ethanol, then that's a problem, because what ethanol does, it gums up the carburetor. I'm thinking right now that the carburetor is the culprit. However, I'm going to take out the spark plug and test it for spark. Now, obviously, if you live up in the north of the country and you do not have ethanol-free fuel like we do up here, and you use regular gas, now remember that gasoline does not absorb water. However, the ethanol in it does, because it's hygroscopic, and that is what gums up the carburetors. So in your case, if you use regular fuel, then what you can do is in the winter, well, not the winter, after you're done for the season, add some fuel stabilizer. But better yet, the best thing to do is to remove all the fuel from the carburetor and the gas tank. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the spark plug and test for spark. Yeah, so the spark plug is a little dirty, but I'm pretty sure I can clean it off, but not yet. Yeah, so there's a little bit of carbon on it, but I can probably clean it off. So let's go ahead and test it. See if we have spark. I mean, I don't think that's my issue here, but you never know. I see no spark. Nope, no spark. I cleaned it off a bit. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. We do have spark. All right, so the spark plug is back on. And let's try to turn it on. And the instructions are right here. So step 1, put the key in. Step 2, pump this 2 or 3 times, no more than that. Step 3, put it on choke. Step 4, pull. But there is one step that this is, well, actually 2, that this is missing from the instructions. First, this is the fuel cutoff valve right there. Here is on, but if you move it up like this, it turns off the fuel. If you bring it down, then it opens up the fuel valve. Also, you want this on fast with the rabbit images, okay? If you need to stop it after you start it, then you move it to the left. But since we're gonna start it, move it to the right. It kind of wanted to start. Let's pump it 2 more times. Nope. You always want to look at the fuel tank. I did look at it last night, and the tank looks relatively clean. No rust, no sediment. And this is a relatively new machine. It's only a few years old. Okay, I did check the oil last night. It does have oil. I'm gonna go ahead and replace. Even though it looks clean, I'm gonna replace it anyway. So the next step is to work on that. So you got 2 bolts up here and 2 nuts down here, one there and one there. And I should be able to take this cover off. Oh, wait a minute, there's two more here. All right, two more bolts up here. In order to remove that piece, I think I'm gonna have to take this entire piece off. And for that, there are even more bolts back here. Two more, one there and one there. Yep, I think that's gonna be the ticket. And by the way, guys, if I haven't said it before, this is a Toro Power Max 724 OE. I really don't have to take that out, just to move it out of the way a little bit. And then this moves back. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the choke, and I'm gonna spray some starting fluid in there just to test it out. But oh, my fluid is stuck. It's a few years old and it doesn't want to spray. All right, so much for that. I'm trying to make it work. Want to add a little bit of fuel. Nope, no go. All right, so let's take out this carburetor, but first I have to turn off the gasoline. You see this lever here? Right now the fuel valve is on, but if you turn it up like so, now that valve is closed. And I can take off this hose right there. It has a little clamp. You may be able to do it with your fingers. Yeah, I can. You don't need pliers or anything. Okay, so here's that clamp. Again, fuel valve is closed. So in order for you to take this fuel hose out, you can push it with a screwdriver. There should be only a few drops of fuel here, and there is. All right, that's good. All right, guys, so if I turn on the valve, we should get gas, and we are. We are getting gas. This valve works just fine. And the gas does not look all that bad. It looks good. Looks clean. I gotta take this hose off from the primer bulb. There's a hose going into the carburetor. Just move it straight up. Take out the hose. Use a flathead screwdriver just to push it up a bit. There we go. All right, this throttle cable, just pull it straight up. And this governor spring, like so. All right, and now I should be able to pull out that carburetor. Oh, and keep in mind that there are two gaskets. Now this gasket's in the front. You see that, guys? This is a front gasket. Make sure you put it right back in the same exact orientation that you took it out. So I'm gonna put this on the floor, and there's another gasket in the back. There we go. This one, it's a little stuck in there. I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna take my time in removing it. There we go. So I'm gonna try and dump any fuel into this container. Any fuel that may be in the float bowl. And all I'm gonna need here is a 10mm socket to take this bolt out and this one. Now this one is just to let any gas out. I don't have to take it off. I can just take this one out. This one is the actual bolt that holds the float bowl in its place. There we go. So I need to take a note that this bolt, the drain bolt, needs to go away from this tube here. So that way it's easy to remove. Now this looks clean. Huh. Yep. The float works, needle works. Yep, the needle looks good, looks decent. All right, let's take out the jet. Yeah, I think this is clogged up. Yep. I can barely see anything in there. I cannot see through the other side. I think this may be the problem. Yep, it's clogged up. Probably clogged up with gunk. And I'm gonna clean this up real well. Now, just as a reminder, do not use the carb cleaner on this rubber gasket. They tend to swell. So before I clean this out, I'm going to go ahead and take out that gasket. Yeah, but this gasket looks like it's in great shape. I'm going to reuse it. Yes, I'm going to take this pilot jet out. It's right here. But before I can do that, I need to remove the idle stop screw, which is right above. It should be in like 7 turns in there. So take this off, take the pilot jet out. But before I can do that, I'm gonna have to clean this carburetor. It is quite dusty. So let's take it outside and clean it up with carb cleaner. Oh yeah, and before you ask, it is snowing. We're gonna get another 3 inches of snow by tomorrow morning. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turns. All right, so I might have to pull this up with a pair of pliers or something. Oh, it came out easy. All right. So this is a pilot jet. I need to clean this and the main jets as well with carb cleaner. So I am going to use these set of brushes, a tiny set of brushes, to clean all of these parts. Actually, not that one. Pilot jet right here. Just gotta find the right one. Here's the right one for this pilot jet. Super thin. Just take it back and forth a few times. So I want to go ahead and put the pilot jet back on. Now the pilot jet has a flat surface. That makes sure that that goes against the carburetor. There's a little section here, flat section. It has to go against that. If not, you're not going to be able to get the pilot jet back in. Press it in with both fingers. There we go. And now I can get the idle stop screw back in there when I have to turn it 7 times. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Then you can adjust it once you turn on your snowblower. But for now, I think it's good. I want to do the same things for this right here. I'm going to find the right brush and clean out that hole. Yep, there we go. I can see through it now. I don't know if you can tell. You can blow compressed air or more carbon choke cleaner. I used carbon choke cleaner just a few minutes ago to clean the carburetor and all of these small parts. But if there's any gunk in there, definitely these brushes will get it out. Now look at the main jet. It has 6 holes on the side. Now these are tiny. All right, so I'm gonna find the smallest rod or brush over here, and I'm going to insert it into each one of those holes until it goes to the other side. And the smallest one I have is this right there. There we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, this one actually goes to the other side. Let's go to the next set of holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, make sure you get the gunk out. See that, guys? That's what you want. Carbon choke cleaner sometimes may clear it, but sometimes not, especially if it's gotten hard. If the gunk gets hard in there, it's not gonna come out unless you use these little brushes. Let's put everything back together. And it goes. And now this one. And guys, to tighten it, it can go snug, not too tight. All right, so I'm gonna put the gasket back on. I'm gonna put the float and needle back on. All right, so the gasket is sitting just fine. Now I'm gonna put the bowl over it. And I'm gonna put the screw. Make sure it goes in there snug. And I think we are done with the carburetor. Simple, right? All right, let's go put it back on. Okay, gasket 1. Let's go ahead and put in the front gasket now. Let's put this primer hose on. Primer hose is on. Now, we're gonna put the governor rod in, which is the big thick one right there. And it goes, it should go like this. Just press it in, and the throttle return spring. Throttle return spring is a thin one, and it goes on a separate hole right there. Now for the fuel line. Should be easy. There we go. Now we can open up the fuel. There should be gas going into the float bowl right now. I don't see any leaks. We're good to go. All right, so what next? Well, let's put everything back together. All right, guys, I am ready to try and turn it on. Let's see if it works. All right, let's see. Okay, keys on, chokes on, throttle. Do we have another problem? We may have another problem. And what I'm thinking now is it's gotta be that spark plug. Huh. Ay caramba. Carburetor's clean. It's not turning on. And we got plenty of gas. And we know it's flowing into the carburetor. We have oil. It's gotta be that spark plug. Even though we saw spark, maybe there's something wrong with it. So something similar happened last year to the mini bike. I took out the spark plug, there was spark. However, when I replaced it for a new one, the mini bike started working again. All right, spark plug it is. So I went out to Home Depot and I bought a spark plug. The spark plug that is recommended for this is a Champion RN9YC, and this is a replacement for it. So I gotta take off the boot. Take out the plug. This is a Bosch. It's the same. Okay. Well, let me start it by hand. That's it. Will it start? Well, we're about to find out. Keys in, choke. I opened up the garage door. That way we can get some ventilation in here. Let's try it again. 5 minutes and it's running better now than when I first started it. And oil should be warm. Let's go change it now. The oil on this one is on the side. All right guys, so I have this pan, and in order to get this pan under this bolt, I need to take the wheel off, and then I can lower it. I jacked it up with my car jack. Let's see how bad these wheels are. Are they rusty? Yeah, a little bit of rust. There's no anti-seize in there, and we're gonna take care of that later. So let me go ahead and lower it. And this is a 10mm bolt, or 10mm plug. There we go. Sometimes when you're opening this tube, it wants to spin as well. So if yours wants to spin, all you do is hold it with vice grip, pair of pliers, and then turn on this bolt here. Yeah, normally these things are located in the back of the engine, which is a good thing because then you can tilt the engine back. But this one, for whatever reason, is on the side. And it is dirty. I mean, it could be worse, but look how black that is. So what I'm gonna do in a second is I'm gonna try and tilt this over this way so it drains better. Yeah, look how dark this is. I don't feel any metal shavings, which is a good thing, but it definitely needed an oil change. This particular model takes 17 ounces, and in the past I was using 10W30, but because the temperature here falls below 20 degrees quite often, actually most of the winter, I'm gonna use 5W30. And I'm gonna keep using 5W30 from now on. And that's gonna make the engine start a little bit faster during cold season. All right, bolts back on. Now let's add anti-seize to the wheels. But wait, before I do that, I gotta add oil to the engine before I forget. So here it goes. If you live in a very cold climate like I do, then I'm gonna start using 5W30 full synthetic from now on. This particular engine only takes 17 ounces. And this is a 32 ounce bottle. Yep, 1 quart, 32 ounces. Yep, it's to the full level mark. We are done here. All right guys, so I'm gonna stand this snowblower up so I can service it, so I can service the gears underneath. But before I stand this up, I'm gonna put this cling wrap that my wife uses in the kitchen. I'm gonna put it over the cover and then close it over the gas cap so it doesn't leak. And then I'll take it off once I'm done. So now I'm going to take off the wheels. I'm going to clean the shaft with steel wool. And then I'm going to add some anti-seize. Now here we have 4 10mm bolts. 2 on top and 2 on the sides towards the bottom here. Wow, it looks very nice inside. Looks relatively clean compared to some of the others I've worked on. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one definitely looks Yeah, almost brand new. It looks very nice. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some lithium grease to this shaft. Just a very light coat all the way around. So it can change gears nice and smooth. Or speeds. I could go from 1 through 6. Very nice. Just a very light coat. Don't overdo it. You don't want that to fall on the friction disc. Look at that. And maybe some on this gear. Just a little bit. You can also use red and tacky here. Yep, I don't see anything else to do in here. Let's change gears. Oh yeah, it's nice and smooth now. I mean, it was good before, but you know what I'm saying. Has about 8 pounds, and we need to put anywhere between 15 and 20 pounds. There we go. That's about 18 or 19 PSI. No more. These augers do not come with a zerk or a way to grease them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shear pins out, and then I'm gonna spray everything with fluid film. I'm gonna spray the corners and try to spray as much of fluid film as I can inside of that hole once I take out this bolt end. For this particular machine, we have what, 11 millimeter. I already have cardboard on the floor, and I'm gonna try and spray as much fluid film as I can inside. Spin it around. Spray some on the corners. That's pretty much all you can do for this. I mean, if I had the Zerks in here and I could add grease, I would definitely be doing that, but this particular model does not come with that. Okay, so I'm gonna put the shear pin bolt back in and do the other one. All right, I am done. Now I'm gonna run it for a few minutes. It's ready. Now I can take it back to my daughter tomorrow morning.